Welcome back, Addicts. We're here with another show review. I'm Josh.
And I'm Michael.
And today we're going to be talking about Rick and Morty Season 2. Michael, do you want to start us off by talking a little bit about the season as a whole?
Yeah, so this season's a little bit different. And it kind of, most seasons twos are, but, Season 1 is a lot of one-offs, and you kind of, experience in the story who Rick is, who Morty is. This one, it has kind of those episodes, but the first one is kind of links back to the finale and the cliffhanger in Season 1, and then the last episode kind of leaves you on in a kind of a cliffhanger, as well as how the Earth is gonna be and how Rick is gonna get out of this situation, and that connects back to Season 3. So there are some plot elements that link through the episodes, but it's mainly just one-off, similar to Season 1.
Yeah, and there's several things in the show that are just as wild and outlandish as the first one. So that's one of the things that I really like, that they kept that DNA of it, but also providing more of a plot as well. I guess we'll start into our top 3 episodes, personally, for each one. I'm going to start off with mine, which is episode 6, This Rick Must Be Crazy, which in this episode we have Rick, Morty, and Summer, and they're in the car, and they're going to go get ice cream, and but they want to go to a different universe that has supposedly the best ice cream in all of the multiverse. And so they have a problem with the battery, and Rick has Morty and him go inside the battery, which he actually uses a universe, like a mini-verse, to power it. And I will say that there's definitely some Inception moments, because it doubles itself several times. So I won't go into too much detail on that, but it's just a pretty fun ride, and we get to see probably the first nemesis for Rick that maybe is the closest on par that any of the other people could be. But then the side story for that is pretty funny as well. We get Summer that's just stuck in the car, and Rick told the vehicle to keep Summer safe, and we'll see. You'll see how that goes. It's pretty great.
And another thing I like about this episode is Stephen Colbert is actually the guest star. So he's the one who's the nemesis of Rick throughout the episode.
And he did that really well.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. The first episode that I'll list in my top 3, I'll probably go with Morty Night Run. This is there are some episodes where Morty has a conscience, but this is his reaction to finding out that Rick is basically an interdimensional arms dealer and is giving this assassin a weapon to kill a particular being. And the assassin's great. The being, you get to see more of him and Rick and Morty in this adventure as they hang out with him. And this is the episode where you also have the famous Moon Man song, which has nothing really to do with anything, but it's great. Yeah, it's just a random song that's... and then the ending, I really like the ending of this episode where Morty he goes into 360, and like a lot of Rick and Morty, all these efforts and trying to be a moral person just doesn't work.
Yeah, where you get to see Morty's ethics be challenged.
Yeah. And
he's maybe in the same place or maybe not in the same place when he's all said and done with it. Probably my favorite part of that episode, though, is Life of Roy.
Yeah. So, you do have them going to an interdimensional arcade, and it's pretty great as well.
Now, my second one, I know people might question it, but they're just always so good, so I got to put it in there, and that's Interdimensional Cable Part 2. This one has, I guess, kind of a more interesting, I don't say interesting, maybe just more action-packed side story. We get to see Jerry. It starts off with him being in a hospital, and he's got some stuff wrong with him, and the rest of them have to wait outside, and they're just watching Interdimensional Cable while everything's going on in the hospital. But Jerry is asked to donate a certain part of himself to help a universe leader that saved millions of lives,
like a human rights. Yeah,
it's like a human. It's basically like alien Martin Luther King.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, it's pretty great. But there's a lot of iconic little skits in this Interdimensional Cable. They're just
Yeah, if I had to list my favorites, I'd probably go with How Did I Get Here?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Did she get here? And personal space.
Yeah, stay out of my personal space. But yeah, so that episode just automatically gets it in there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's hard to pick three, and we actually this time we picked all three different episodes, but it's kind of interesting. Season 2, there's not all these episodes are really good, but I wouldn't say there's a great one that stands out as being the best episode of the season.
Yeah,
which in season 1 and season 3 you could make an arguments for one or another episode, but so the second one of my favorites would be Total Recall. This is the episode with the aliens and some mysterious characters show up, and they're very wacky and almost like they're improv. But I can't really give away too much because, anyway, the story's really funny in this one. You have everyone involved. You have a gay subplot that's pretty great with Jerry.
Sleepy Gary.
Sleepy Gary. Oh man, it's just a lot of funny flashbacks, and it's like the purest one-off episode. Anyway, we'll just go with that. It's the purest one-off episode, and it's a lot of fun. And it's similar tone to International Cable with kind of being improv with some of the characters. So.
Yeah, the characters kind of improv, so they kind of take that from International Cable, but at the same time, the tone and feel almost feels like the simulation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, it was pretty great. But my third and final favorite for this one was Big Trouble in Little Sanchez, which both sub-stories for this are just great. We get to see Rick at the beginning doing as he is, just minding his own business, tending to his own inventions, and Summer has a theory that there's vampires at the school, and so she wants Rick to come and actually deal with the situation, but he's like, wouldn't that look kind of weird if a 6-year-old man is just walking around a high school? And so he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And at the same time, we have Jerry and Beth. Their relationship is getting more deteriorated, more cancerous, and so Rick can't stand it, so he's like, I'm going to take you guys to the best marriage council of people in the galaxy. So you get to see Beth and Jerry deal with their marriage, which is pretty great. You get to see how people just label their toxic relationship. And then on the flip side of that, we get Rick that's like, yeah, you know what? I'll do it anyway. I have nothing better to do. So then we get to see Tiny Rick.
Yeah, and you get more music in this episode, too.
This is another great song, too.
And one thing that I like at the end... Yeah. I'm dying in a vat. In the garage. Another thing that I really like is the one-off with, the vampire at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Why do we have... Anyway, I won't even spoil the joke, but that part's pretty great, too.
That's something we need to talk about in the... maybe that'll be a fourth video that we'll do, all the best end-credit scenes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them.
There are.
So my third and final one is also a musical episode. It's basically the most musical episode. It's Get Swifty. And basically, so this one stars Ice...
Two-hit classics
Ice-T.
in one episode.
It does have two great songs. You got Ice-T in this episode. It's basically like American Idol with planet destroyers, and then only the best planet survives.
Yeah.
And then I also love the religion side plot that's pretty great with the principal, where he basically starts a religion, and it's pretty hilarious. Especially I think it's Summer at the end. They're like, oh, we're
crucifixion by helium balloons.
Yeah, that's it's pretty funny. But I really like the music in this one. Ice-T is pretty funny. He's got an interesting end credit scene too. And then you have we may see the president once or twice before this episode.
Yeah, which is weird because you definitely hear his voice earlier in the season.
But you do get to he's part of it. You get to see him dancing. And anyway, the two songs are just great, and it's another one-off episode, but the music and everything is good, and I like the side plot with the religion. So.
Yeah, and like Michael said at the beginning, those are all of our top three, but like Michael was saying, this season just has all good episodes. There's not one in particular for me that I can count as the best, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good or bad thing, because as long as you think all the episodes are good, I think that's a good thing, but, whenever you have a situation where you think that's the best one, then you maybe are downplaying some of the other ones when you're not necessarily intending to. But, overall, I really like this season. I don't know if it has any episodes that top some of the episodes in season 1 for me, but overall, I do like the season. I like the overall plots, like the new plots that we were getting, and the character growth, and that part I think they did do better.
Yeah, for me, I think season 1's a season that you have episodes, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 episodes that you play and you watch all the time. I think season 2, you leave it on, you get the first season of season 2 and you just leave it on and watch the whole season, casually. You don't have to skip an episode, but you don't have to, you're not going to go back to season 2 and be like, well, I want to watch this one episode because it's so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty good. Because, although with that being said, there may be ones that whole episodes that don't stand out, but there's certain scenes in each episodes that you're just like, I could watch that forever.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But getting onto our rating, man, I get this.
It's still in development. We're gonna
get. We introduced it for one of our other book reviews, and we're kind of tweaking it a little bit because, as Michael said, we feel like there needs to be some more steps. But just as a one-off thing for this, I'm gonna give it 98 Rebels. And if you get that reference, thank you. But basically that just means that this is really good. I'd rate it similarly to the first season. I don't know if I can necessarily say it's better, but it's on par in its own way.
Yeah, I would rate that. I would agree with that as well. I think if you like the first season, you're really gonna like the second season. I wouldn't be like, oh, you have to watch this episode from the second season. I would just watch it in order.
Yeah. Now I will say though, if there's one episode that you do watch, if you don't watch any of them except for one, but you want to watch season 3, definitely watch the last episode of season 2.
Because wait a couple days and then watch season 3.
Yeah, because that definitely connects.
Well, I guess we'll have to. We're still developing the ranking system, so we'll have to get back to you guys on that. Once we have one more category that really needs to fill.
Yeah.
And then we'll get some graphics and stuff for that too. So
I think you guys will like it though.
Yeah, I think it'll be better than just numbers to actually explain what our rating system is. Well, with that, we pretty much reviewed everything of season 2 in Rick and Morty. Just reminding you guys, we have a podcast that pretty much comes out every week. We have anime and light novel reviews. That's what I kind of head off on the channel. And we got movies.
We got movies, games, do it all. We're trying to get more. We have all of our content on our main site, which is addictinformative.wordpress.com. But we're trying to get more of it funneled in onto the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that too.
All right, peace, addicts.
See you later.